Okay, today we're going to look at different compounding periods. So let's look at the joke of the day here. Write the largest number you can. Write the largest number. Oh, huge one. Okay, different compounding periods. So, compounding periods. Compounding periods, the number of times interest is applied. The letter N, okay, goes for that. Example, monthly, you pay 12 times a year. So 12 would be your compounding period, not just 1 year. So now we're not going to deal with 1 years or 2 years or 3 years. The formula is now going to deal with months, okay, or different times of years. Okay, by law, interest is always given yearly. You have to convert it if it applies to a different compounding period. So if you give a yearly interest rate and then you're getting money every few months, you have to convert that interest rate to a monthly one. Okay, for different compounding periods, when you find your I, you take your interest and you divide by this factor. Okay, N, okay, the compounding periods is the number of years times the factor. Okay, to make it simple, I put this table. So for example, semi-annual, for example, that's twice a year, semi-annual, you divide the interest by 2, but you multiply the compounding period by 2. Okay, quarterly, you divide by 4, and you multiply the compounding period by 4. Monthly, you divide the interest by 12, and then to get your N in the formula, you multiply by 12. And weekly, you divide I by 52, and then you the compounding period, you multiply by 52 to get your N. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're still going to use the same formula. Okay, we're still going to use the exact same formula as before, but we're going to first find the I and N here, okay, for that formula. So we're still going to use this A equals P 1 plus I to the N, as we did in the last lesson, and we're still going to use that. The interest is equal to A minus P. This is the exact same thing as the last lesson, just the I we're going to have to divide by something, and N we're going to have to multiply. So let's calculate I and N here. Monthly. So you go to the table. So 5 years, monthly. So let's take a look at the table, monthly. So you go to the table, monthly. I divide by 12. N multiply by 12 tells you in the table. Okay, let's get I. So I, or interest, so let's write it on here. I equals 3 divided by 12. So 3 divided by 12, we go to our calculator. 3 divided by 12 equals 0.25. Now that's 0.25%. Now, when we use it in the formula, we have to still turn it into a decimal. So in the formula, you still have to divide it by 100. Not 111, but 100. And you get 0.0025, which is what you would use in the formula. Okay, so let's just erase that so it looks like a 0 there. Be a bit more perfect here, so we'll fix that up. Make sure that looks like a 0. And you do the opposite. You do 5 times 12. So in this one, you divide by 12, and then don't forget to divide by 100. This one, you multiply by 12. So 5 times 12, we go to our calculator. 5 times 12. And you get 60. So N is 60. Okay, we'll go to the next one here. Okay, now we're going to do B here. So you got 4 years, 2%. Now the word here is quarterly. Okay, so we're going to go up here to the table, see what quarterly says. Quarterly, 4. Our magic number is this 4. So we're interest, you're going to divide by 4, and N you're going to multiply by 4. So let's go over here. So interest, I, is going to be 2 divided by 4. 2 divided by 4 is, let's go to our calculator. I think it's 0.5, but let's just double check. 2 divided by 4 is 0.5. And to turn, that's 0.5%. To turn it into a decimal, you have to divide by 100. So it's as if you move the decimal place over 2 places. Okay, so you take this decimal, you move it 2. So look, 1, 2 when you divide by 100. Okay, now n. And you take the number of years, 4, and you multiply by 4. So you're going to get 16 here. Okay, so here, look, you do divided by 4, you do the opposite, times 4. And then you got your interest rate that you'll use in the formula and the 16. We'll do some problems in the next video.